Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. It is April 11, 2017 at 1233 a.m. in Birmingham. And topic, I mentioned last night about some of the events that were taking place, and Revelations 4:1, church is gone, but yet we're about to see Revelations 12:1 take place in September 28th this year. So this says that we're well into the tribulation. And I'm hearing people say that we're in it. We've been in it for 6 years. But there's one absence. If we've been in it 6 years, there's an absence. I'm going to let you hear what this guy says. And I have to undo my speakers because it's a better sound here without them. But I just want you to hear what this guy's saying just briefly, and then I'll be right back. I mean, you're going to see my mug anyway, so. But let's see what he's got to say here.
Yeah. But these people have. So tribulation has been occurring, and it's been occurring for quite a while. When did we start first seeing Assad chemically bomb his people? This wasn't a new thing that we just saw that where Trump retaliated. This happened in the beginning. What, about 6 years ago? Think about that. Think about where we are at. Just a quick reminder, back in March 2011, guys, think about what we're talking about here. 6 years ago, the tribulation began for these people. Unlike his former counterparts in Tunisia and Egypt, when protests against his government began in March 2011, they're talking about Assad, he gave orders to crush the dissent rather than tolerate it. And he refused to meet protesters' demands. The brutal crackdown by the security forces did not, however, stop the protest and eventually triggered an armed conflict that the UN says has so far left more than 250,000 people dead.
You know what? And what I want to say about that, here he say we have been in it 6 years. And this is, by the way, BP Earth Watch. And the date on this is April 10. So it's published today. And actually just a little while ago. But the point I want to make, the Bible does tell us what we need to look for leading up to the tribulation. And it is these things. There will be people dying of starvation. There will be wars and rumors of wars around this earth. There will be volcanoes. There'll be earthquakes. There'll be disasters. These things are happening. This does not implicate us and put us in the tribulation. And I'm going to tell you the major reason why I can tell you clearly we're not in it. But let me read you what I posted on him so that he hopefully would see it and think about it. I'm going to read my post back to him. We are not in the tribulation. It is a 7-year-long period, and when the whole world does enter into that final 7 years, every nation will be in the tribulation. Every man, every woman will be hurt by the tribulation. First 3.5 years, over 2.5 billion people will die. That includes people in the United States of America. All nations, we are not in the tribulation yet. You will know when it begins by an event that mark the beginning. And that's something to remember. The rapture of the church, that kicks off the tribulation. Now, it's a 7-year, no more period of time. There will be at least 18 judgments. Now, each judgment, seal, vial, trumpet, 7 apiece. But the 7th of each judgment simply calls for the next judgment to come forward. So that's why they say 21 judgments, because the seventh will call for the next, meaning it's a judgment. But then there's another. And God told John, utter not what you heard. But John did say, there were thunders that I heard, but I don't know what they were. So there's thunders that may be in the tribulation. And the thunders, since they're not mentioned, they could be the worst judgment of all. So we don't know what all these 7 year holds. We do know it's going to be 1,000 times worse than what we're in today. Count the number of people dying today, and then the number that will die in the 7 years. Half of the world's population, as it stands, we're pointing at about 4 billion people, will die in 7 years. And if you calculate 7 years, the number of months, and divide that into 4 billion, we're not in a tribulation. Not anywhere near it. We're in internal conflicts. We're in fact, 90% of the conflicts are, as we all know, it is the radical Islamic Muslim. 90% of what's going on today comes from that world. Those countries that are having all these problems, who are the ones that's creating these problems? It is the radical Islamic Muslim. It's the terrorist. Now, you don't know terrorist. You don't even know the meaning of that word until that tail from Satan in the sky. This is when God cast Satan. Now we're talking about, I'm going back last night, about the belly of the Virgin, Virgo. Jupiter is turning little circles that is never done before, and he will do it for 9 months until he comes out where Satan is there to consume him. But yet he's thrashing about the old serpent, Satan, because he is cast out of God, out of heaven for a final time. He will not be allowed back. So when he falls, he will bring a lot of fallen angels with him. This is why you see the stars will fall from the heavens. When Satan falls, he brings an entourage with him. And what do? They come to earth. And then the 4 angels come out of River Euphrates, and they go on a killing spree. 3.5 years, the biggest portion of the people on earth will die, 1/3 of the whole earth. In the next 3.5 years, 1/4 of the earth will die. So you put in it at about 4 billion people. And then those that die in the end will probably be 3.5 billion, if not more. There won't be 1 billion that enter into heaven, not out of the tribulation. There may be millions, but not 1 billion. Probably not anywhere near it. So I wanted to bring that forward and tell these people we are not in the tribulation. You'll know it. You'll know it on the very first day when you have in the neighborhood of 1,000 airplane crashes in a single day. You'll have 100 million automobile wrecks in a single day. You will have more fires around the world in houses, in apartments, in buildings in a single day than we've ever had. You will have more people jumping out of windows of buildings and killing themselves in a single day than we ever have. All this in response to the rapture of the church. That single event will create more havoc at one time worldwide than we've ever had at one time, the worldwide, since the day of Noah. That's why they say, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be again. in the days of the end times. So think about that. We are not in a tribulation. If this guy had it right, we've been 6 years and we still haven't lost a half the world's population. And if it's going to catch up, then that means hundreds of millions will die. 100 million will die every day. I mean, think about it. Well, not every day. Maybe 30 million daily will die. You figure it up. It takes 1,000 million to get a billion. And you got 4 billion to die. We're not in the tribulation. Not yet. Jody Wolf Expoz.